2014 could be a watershed election for Republicans in the Senate, with Iowa Senator Tom Harkin's unexpected announcement over the weekend that he won't seek re-election in 2014. Republicans are feeling optimistic. This came after another Democrat, West Virginia Senator Jay Rockefeller, decided to retire as well. His seat will likely be picked up by a Republican. The Democrats outnumber Republicans in the Senate right now by 10. The GOP would need a gain of 6 seats in 2014 to take control of that part of the Congress. I am joined now by Roll Call's politics staff writer, Shira Toeplitz. Shira, good Monday to you. And, you know, Harkin's decision to step aside has triggered a wide-open race here, a jump ball, if you will, for his Senate seat. The race could attract a number of contenders, from Tea Party-favored candidates like Representative King to others. What's your thought here? How is this both an opportunity and a test for Republicans?
Well, it's an opportunity for Republicans because it's now an open seat, and Iowa has not had an open Senate seat since the 1970s, all right? So this is a good shot in a state that's traditionally been competitive terrain. Now, the bad news for Republicans is because there hasn't been an open Senate seat in a long time, there's a bit of a bottleneck syndrome in the state. So you're going to have a lot of Republicans looking at the race, really interested in running. This is their big shot to run statewide to get in the U.S. Senate. And as a result, you're probably going to have a primary on the R side. It's not certain yet because he just announced his retirement a couple days ago, but it's looking like it. I mean,
when you look at the faces that we just had up there a moment ago, the possibility of having a candidate make it through the primary that is right of the center of the GOP, they may win the primary, but as we've seen in the past with Sharon Engel, Christine O'Donnell, well, once you get in the general, they don't win. They don't get enough of the center.
Right, and that's definitely a concern among Iowa Republicans right now. Can a Republican who wins the nomination win statewide? That's obviously going to be key. And the two Republicans they're looking at quite closely right now are Representative Steve King, an outspoken conservative and a favorite of national conservatives, and Representative Tom Latham, who just won re-election in the southwest corner of Iowa in a very competitive district. Tom Latham, over the course of his career, almost 2-decade-long career, has represented 55 of Iowa's 99 counties. By all accounts, he's a strong candidate. Can he win the primary, though, against Steve King?
We've been saying it for about 2 years, and it'll go forward for another 2 to 4 years, the changing of the guard, if you will. You know, there's another liberal line, as I was mentioning, that has gone. Earlier, we had the loss of Ted Kennedy. Now you have Harkin also leaving the Senate. Who takes up the gap for Democrats?
Right. Well, we'll see in terms of the Help Committee, which obviously Harkin was chairman of. We'll see in 2 years how the cards shake out on that. But I think that's a real question right now. There's been a lot of talk about the Republican Party being at a crossroads with conservatives and kind of a right-of-center branch. But in a way, Senate Democrats are also at a crossroads because you have a younger generation, more business-minded Democrats versus an older generation, which one by one, cycle after cycle, is retiring.
Well, let's talk about that. The rights, Republicans, the gaps there, and the more moderate Republicans, Olympia Snowe now gone, Georgia's Senator Saxby Chambliss announcing he would not run again. Chambliss was facing a heated primary challenge by conservatives in his party. That probably fed into his decision there. And recently, we've seen very conservative Republican candidates win the primary, as I was mentioning earlier, but not be able to go forward. Who's going to take up that space for the moderate Republicans?
Well, it's hard because, as you mentioned, a lot of them are gone or they're halfway out the door. I would look to someone like Senator Bob Corker, for example. We saw during the Clinton testimony last time, he just took his ranking position on Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He didn't pound Clinton as hard as some of his colleagues in the Senate. I think Democrats will probably look to him if they want to strike some kind of deal in the near future. And Lamar Alexander as well. He has a little bit more of a tradition of working across the aisle with Democrats, although I will note he is up for re-election in 2014. So maybe not in the next 2 years, but maybe after that if he wins re-election.
Let's talk about timing here. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid saying he wants announcements earlier as opposed to later so that they can line up what you were just talking about. You know, feed that bench, make sure to get that pipeline going earlier on in the process. Does this help really Democrats more, Republicans, with these announcements that are coming out now right after the inauguration?
it unquestionably helps Democrats more if it's someone in their party who is announcing their retirement. I go back to former Senator Evan Bayh, who announced he was going to retire just a couple days before the filing deadline a few cycles ago. And it really hurt his party because Senator Bayh was basically a sure thing for re-election, and the party was really counting on him to run again. And instead they were caught with their hands open. They didn't know what to do and to recruit a candidate. So it really is helpful, especially when you're looking at statewide races like running for Senate, where you need to build a fundraising network, you need to start collecting cash, you need to start getting endorsements. It really helps. And also, the earlier the seat is open, it gives the party more time to be able to shift through a potential primary.
And again, we got 21 months in political time. That is a long, long time, as you and I both know. Roll call, Shira Toeplitz. Thank you so much.